record on this computer. Okay. Just gonna bump up some of the attendees to panelists. Okay. So 7 minutes late. Usually we're never late, you know, so, but. Okay, so we're now at 14 attendees, 15, everyone's coming in. So, in the meantime, I just thought it would be nice before we could start, everyone would just like introduce themselves, talk a little about where they're based and what they practice. So I'm going to start with white space over here. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sure. So, hello everyone, this is Diksha. I am the founder of the White Space. I am a Reiki practitioner, shamanic healer, hypnotherapist, and life coach. So, most of my work is about helping people grow more spiritual awareness, intuition through all the services, workshops, and healings that I provide. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the events and workshops, retreats we'll be doing together with Dharte to, create more fun around all of these different things related to spiritual awareness, intuition. Yeah, so really looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Gia Touch. How are you?
Yeah. Actually, my name is Gloria Terry Krause, and I'm based in Berlin.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I'm a practitioner of energy healing. I combine two techniques, which is a quantum touch and Reiki. Yeah, so I'm a Reiki master and a certified quantum touch practitioner.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And Vienna Yoga, again, thank you for being one of our first people online.
Yes, hi, I'm Michelle. I'm the founder of Vienna Yoga, and I'm in Vienna, in Austria. Yes, what I'm doing, I'm teaching yoga and meditations, and I also teaching for a yoga school, in yoga and energy yoga, different styles. And yes, I'm interested in what it is about here with you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. And we're going to get back to you because we're going to ask you a few questions. Mr. Lino, you've been here for our previous webinars. Thank you again for your support.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to stay until the end because I might have a client coming in. But just to introduce myself, as I said last time, I'm an astrologist and a tarot card reader. I'm based in Milan, Italy. And as far as healing is concerned, the only healing technique I practice is brain spotting. I don't know whether anyone has ever heard of this. This is a technique that was developed by David Grand in the States, and it's a technique on identifying a spot with a pointer in your visual field in order to process trauma.
What did you say? What did you say? What did you say was called brain spotting?
Brain spotting. Would you like me to put a website, not mine, but the brain spotting website on the chat? If anybody.
Of course, yes. So anybody else knows about brain spotting or would like to speak?
Heard of it. I've heard of it. I've never gotten involved.
Well, you basically use a pointer, which is something like this.
Yes.
So look for the and it's used to either heal trauma or to improve performance. So sports athletes and actors use this technique in order to improve their performance. So it's not only a healing technique, but it's also an expansion performance improving technique.
Thank you. I just would like to tell everyone who's here, remember, our webinar is for everyone to get to know each other. We believe in an open source kind of way of doing business, you know, and that is basically bringing. So a lot of people ask me, why are you bringing everyone together? Why are you why are you doing all that? And the idea is because I believe in when people of good minds and great people from all over the world come together with a similar knowledge, we can work on something great, you know. And at the end of the day, I mean, this is not my primary business, so you know, I'm just doing this for a kind of like interest that I've seen. Basically, I've always felt that I could have prolonged my father's health if I had worked on different kind of things, maybe with him, but maybe I was a little too busy doing my other stuff. So that's where my passion has come for this. So again, I would like everyone, please be free to write your contact details, connect with each other after the webinar, make friends, because I see people from all parts, from Canada, from Berlin, from Milan, and I can see some from India and other parts, you know. So the idea is obviously we're a platform, but at the end of the day, we want to bring good people together and we want to do events together. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I was in Goa, which is like the Ibiza of India, and I saw a few locations which could work out for maybe November for a meetup where everyone could come. And then I even spoke to the government, where I mean, I've written to them because my dad used to organize a jazz festival, and he used to get the musicians in, and they would all get paid for with a budget. So you know, if all of this works out, or we'll get a sponsor that would pay for all the healers to come to Goa, and it can become an international festival, you know. So that's the goal, and that's the thing. But just let's move on to all the other people, and then we can tell you more about what we do. So I see Myra Reiki.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Yes, I'm Myra Reichel. I have the Reiki Healing Center in Media, Pennsylvania, USA. And I teach classes and do sessions right now on Zoom, so I could go anywhere in the world. And in May, I start some in-person classes and sessions again. I'm a little scared. It's been a long time. But I do regular Reiki, and then I do something called Karuna Reiki that helps with addictions and habits and abuse issues, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual abuse. It helps with getting planned for the future. I also do a modality called magnified healing, which is actually pretty well. I know a number of people from India who do it, and in South America, it's more popular both those places than in the US. But I do magnified healing. It was brought from Lady Master Kuan Yin to Reverend Gazelle King and Reverend Catherine Anderson. And it works with the nervous system, and it's a standing, moving, spoken meditation. You learn to do that. And then we have celebrations where a line of 9 healers come, and people come through the line of healers. It's really beautiful. And then we have a third phase where we work with, we create laser beams of light that do healing for body systems. So it's really quite wonderful. And before I did the healing, I was a weaver. So this is my tapestry.
Wow.
And right now I'm addicted to weaving. What's that?
I said I'm into antiques too. There's never you've got to have an absolute association to your expressive healing ability. There has to be two. I've never met anybody that doesn't have. You know what I mean? They're all sort of in line with one another. You probably are creative too, expressively creative in regards to yourself. It's always the same level of the brain.
It's just working with that. And I've been a member of the Institute for Religious Development. We study the teachings of George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. I've been a member since 1971. So I hold meetings, and they're on Zoom too right now. So to discuss Gurdjieff's teachings as brought through, I was a student of his direct student, Willem Nyland, and we have like 2,600 tapes of meetings, and it's a worldwide sort of group. It's very special. So yeah. I learned the weaving as part of my spiritual training. It's very meditative, and
that's so nice of you. That's so nice. It's very informative.
So,
Thank you.
Dr. Neeraj, since you're there, would you like to introduce yourself also?
Yeah, surely. Namaste. My namaste to everyone from all over the world. Myself, Dr. Neeraj from India. Uh, well, uh, I work on spirituality, basically a physician. Plus, I work on the psychological part of the brain and emotional healing. But at the same time, I also elevate the energy of a person to go into more pure and real state of happiness, joy, and bliss. Well, we have to understand the limitation of the body. As a doctor, I have realized that the body has its limitation, but once you are able to realize your consciousness journey, then you can transcend beyond all limitations and you can feel and experience the real bliss, which is the present in every one of you, because every one of you is immortal at your conscious level. Body is just a vehicle, and once you connect yourself to those vibrational energy, what you feel a great vibration always flowing through you, and you are always stimulated by all the pain, suffering, and means traumas. So that kind of balance, this consciousness creates within you. You can always call yourself as a true self beyond immortality. And well, the mind is always limited and it always keeps you limited, but one can always transcend. And in 21st century, what we need more conscious teacher, teacher of consciousness, more teacher of happiness, more teachers of joy, bliss, and more teachers of Vedanta. And well, psychology is, if complemented with this wisdom of Bharat, I think that makes a wonderful combination of healing from within. And this actually elevates a person to different stages of spirituality. And I think that's what we all are looking forward to create more gurus, more happiness, and more joy in this lifetime.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. So I just see a Rukshar Alternative. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you so much. My name is Jaspal Singh. I'm from India originally. Now I'm settled in Istanbul, in Turkey, where I have my own center now.
I saw that. I saw that. And how's it living in Turkey?
It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. I'm very blessed and very happy that I choose this path, which lead me here. It wasn't a plan, but I was invited in 2008 by a detox center from India, and I was here for 2 months, and I got wonderful results.
Beautiful
very
city.
Good respect. Beautiful city, really beautiful city, unbelievable people around us. So then after freelancing for a few years, then I formed my own company here to legalize everything. And since 2013, I bought my family, and then we are settled here now. And now I have opened my own center last like 4 years. And I do clinical reflexology and energy balancing. I boiled into 2 therapies. One is for physical things, one is for emotional, psychological balancing and problems. Because I believe even somebody have for 1 year, any physical problem, but the roots are not physical then. It also has the root from emotional or psychological things. And every part of the body has their own memory storage. So that's where my expertise is. I have some special hands. I can say I'm blessed with some special energies. I can get the information from the body when I touch.
Memory is definitely something which is
Definitely
is there. Yeah, you know. But not
so
only that, even plants and even other things have memory. Which
so everybody who has gone through anything, they have stored in their body. So this is where the trauma or their emotions or their nature or personality has been like built up. So after touching and getting the information, and then we talk about the whole things, that from where it has started, what kind of nature they have, what kind of personality they have, and then we talk. It's like interactive sessions. So then with the subsequent session, we try to balance that.
Okay, great. Just going to get to some of the other audience members before we, because we're going to run short of time then. Infinite Wellness. Hi, how are you?
Yeah. Hi. Infinite Wellness is the name of my firm, you can say, which I just made it after many years of my services. Like I'm into alternate healing. When I was 15 years old, I got into Reiki and acupressure, and since then I've been practicing that. Now I am a Reiki grandmaster because it's been giving me miraculous results. I mean, difficult to believe even today. And like my mission in life is for the longevity without diseases, disease-free longevity. And of course, that all, it all depends on, like
No,
Dr. Neeraj and everybody said. So
I
it is
totally
like
agree
my
with you with this longevity,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people, and I've heard of stories about that human growth hormone and how it became such a fad in LA. And I had friends who used to have these doctors that they used to consult, and they used to get this injected with HGH. So no,
I agree with you.
Anybody has anything to say about that?
I myself worry a little bit about things like that being put into the body. I'm a purveyor that what I've spoken about when I've worked with clients for 31 years. In this experience, you know yourself, we're going to be here and we're going to experience and we're going to leave to another plane. I don't become too worried. I've always believed very much in the Hindu philosophy about past lives, because I think this was something I was destined to do. And I've touched a lot of people, and I've never ascended. It's sort of just been a moderate. I must have read 50,000 people in 31 years. And the thing is, I love people. And I think when you love and you give interactively, it isn't about the material reward. It's more, you're continually, that's the spiritual essence. When someone says to me, oh, I feel so much better tonight, that to me, and I know this is a past life thing. I went through past life regression with a fellow who actually is Indian. He's actually from Mumbai 20 years ago. And he told me about George in England, and he said, you have a payback in this life. And I was adopted, and there was all these different things, and I knew this was part of it. And I had all these other talents with singing and the entertainment business.
But you being from another culture, I'm just trying to say, like, I'm not being in
of course.
any way trying to be, but I'm just saying, like, for me, like, I'm Indian. I've heard these stories from my grandmother's time. If you do something, there's going to be karma back to you. Just general these things.
True.
But I'm just trying to say.
We have a connection. We have a connection to India, though, from the 18th century and my ancestries.
So you
it's
feel
quite
that
interesting.
So you feel that you do have a connection, or you feel like everything is one?
Well, the thing is, I learned that as a boy. Even my adopted mother died when I was young, and it catapulted me from music, because I was a very good singer. It catapulted me from music. And I walked into this tea room, and the woman said, you're going to work here. And I had no idea. It was this young, physically fit dancer singer. And I said, I know this is meant to be. And I had dreams just recently that I was going to go through this spiritual experience where I was going to connect on a large scale. And then I got the message from Dharte, which I was thrilled about. And my father lived in Mumbai. He had a very strong connection, my adopted dad, with India.
You said you had a message from Dharte?
Well, from you guys, like when you sent me the message saying you've been invited, and I knew.
Dharte.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Duarte. I'm sorry.
Duarte is a Filipino president.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't read it correctly. I just saw the issue. I didn't really get into the detail about it. But I do believe that there are spiritual reasons why you're working through what you're working through.
Yes,
you know
it
what I
is
mean?
It is always the spiritual reason, and it's always the oneness we are working for. Because until unless we don't realize the oneness within us,
That's right.
then you cannot love anyone. It's all about loving yourself and giving the love to everyone.
That's right.
Basically, we must feel and experience the divineness in other. And until unless we see that divineness within, you will be never connected to any person. And whenever you see a beggar on the street, we always see the beggar, but we don't see the divineness in it.
That's right.
That's all
I always do. I
Like,
stop.
I would like to add a bit here, like this body,
Sorry.
the physical body, which we see, touch, and feel. This is, just the 1/10 of the total body what we are
That's right.
carrying, right?
That's
So it is
perfect.
like 90% body is the aura which we feel, and we don't
That's
have
right.
any science. But now, yes, we have the scientific instruments to measure the aura and the intensities also. I mean, that is one good thing I really thank science for, that they are giving the explanation to all the spiritual realities. And with that, and I'm really happy to see all of you here, all of us collaborating, and real thanks to the host as well. Look, fashionably, I
No, it's
really
actually,
don't know
sorry,
your
sorry.
name.
I'm gonna, I'll tell you what
Yeah,
happened.
I did the name, like I was trying to find how do I
Yeah, same
call
here.
you, but it
Same
is a
here.
beautiful venture, because this is what even I am doing with Infinite Wellness. It's synergizing health and lifestyle with different alternative modalities, natural modalities, towards the oneness of the world. This is like, I would be super duper happy to be connected with all of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Infinite
okay. Sorry. So just, sorry, thank you all. Yeah. Just to clarify, it's Dharte. Actually, there was another company of ours. So
Dharte, sorry.
so basically meaning earth. Yeah. And basically, my main business is fashionably in. We're a trade show based in London, and we do shows in London. So that's our expertise, actually bringing people together. So if you find people here from all parts of the world and you're like, how do people come here from all parts of the world? That's what we do best. And that's our secret, So now just to get to crystal healing before, because we just want to talk to everyone before, so then we can make, before we run short of time. Crystal healing, how are you?
Oh, hi there. I'm good, thanks. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for inviting me. My name's Sarah Jane. I am a accredited crystal healer with ACCHO, the crystal healing consultant at the College of Psychic Studies in London, Chelsea, if you know that part of the world. I'm also an angelic Reiki teacher and master, a priestess of Avalon. I studied 3 years in Glastonbury, and I'm part of the goddess movement. I'm a sacred celebrant. I've got, I've been busy since I was quite young, and it's really good to be here and connect with all of you like-minded kindred spirits across the world. I wasn't too sure what this was all about. I came just out of curiosity, to be honest. No, it's lovely to be here. I do have to go and look at a venue soon for my new workshops, because hopefully we're going to be out in the world again soon. So
did you get your vaccine? Did you get your vaccine?
No.
So you're not taking the vaccine?
Yeah, I'm just going to watch and see what happens with the vaccine for now.
No, because
it's happening good.
Sorry, but Boris in his speech yesterday said that he's not going to there's going to be the digital passport with the vaccine passport now, right? So it's going to be a little tricky, for people to travel.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm just going to watch it unfold. I'll just see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward to white space, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Actually, we have already spoken right now. I was the first one to start introducing myself. So do you want me to speak again?
Okay. So we're just going to move to, sorry about that. We're going to move to Priyanka Jain. How are you?
Problem.
Priyanka Jain?
Talking to me? Okay. Yeah. Hello. Hello,
Priyanka
everybody.
Jain. Okay, go ahead, please.
You can hear that. Yeah. Hello, everybody. And it's very interesting to be here because I just got this mail out of the blue and from nowhere. But, just introducing myself, I'm a pranic healer. I'm a basic and advanced instructor and a professional healer. And we've been healing people for all kinds of ailment, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological or mental. And for me, like, this has been a 7-year journey. Earlier I used to practice it for myself, but then when I realized that it has got me so much difference, and so many of my life questions were answered, I decided to take it forward and become a healer, and then finally an instructor. But yes, when I do healings in my practice, personally, like how I like to, so we use pranic healing as a modality for healing. So we use crystals, we use energy, and balance the aura and the chakras so that the problem is solved. But what we also do is that just by balancing, it does not bring complete healing until the person himself is ready to take, a responsibility on himself to change certain things, because there are thoughts, there are emotions, there are lifestyles that is causing the problem. Now, if that is not changed, whatever we do, it can be reversed. It will go back
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
lot of time. So I like to work with people who are ready to take some responsibility, ready to change their thoughts, ready to adopt certain lifestyles, maybe take on meditations, and understand that this is the root cause for their issue. And then when they are ready to pull it out, and that's when the permanent healing really takes place for them.
You
So
just needed to, I'm just trying to interrupt you, just needed to guide them to their supreme healer, which is present within them. So if you guide them to their supreme healer, which is present already within every cell of their body, that
yes,
will take over.
connection to soul is one thing, but there are a lot of people who don't even realize what's going on in them, as in thoughts. Soul is at the next level, so step by step.
Okay. Thank you so much for your introduction, and very interesting topic that we all got to speak about in the future. Anne, how are you doing, Anne? Sorry we cut you off.
Hi, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm based in Paris, France.
Okay.
I'm therapist of Ayurveda and energetic. I'm Kriyabani disciple of Parama Sadhugananda. So I spend lots of my time meditating because we are true disciples. We really, strict meditation in the morning and nighttime. My mission is to bring most of the people back to their level of spirituality throughout the Ayurvedic and energetic treatments. So I handle many disciplines like acupressure, massages, chakra balancing, chorotherapy, nutritherapy, sound healing, Lemuria code is bioenergetic, which belong to the Lemuria civilization, is very strong. Within 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, we can take out the COVID energetic attacks.
Wow.
And this technique is very strong. It can treat every.
What did you say the name of the technique is again?
Lemuria code, Lemuria.
Okay.
Lemuria.
Yes, that's right. It's belong to the Easter Islands. It's very strong. The person can see the colors, may see the may travel from one country to another one. I had 2 clients who traveled to India to Polynesia during the session. So the person, they just described me what's going on. I couldn't see. And one of them who just become now the soul transmitters, and she's experiencing really the mystical experience with me. I cannot talk you more because Heavenly Father, He doesn't allow me to tell more. But just to tell you that this technical is very powerful. And even I cannot give you this technique because it's from the master to the disciples. And it's endless. It's endless. The technique is endless. As long as the attack the energetic attacks are, against the.
So can this service be done virtually, or does it have to be done at your studio in Paris?
We can do at distance. We can do everywhere. Anything. It's very quick. Within, depends on the attacks that you receive. Like for example, 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. And after that, just within 1 or 2 minutes, we can take out any trauma, anything, any attacks it takes out. It's very quick, really quick.
Wow. So this is something you must write your contact details on the chat box. So anyone else who wants to find out more can directly contact you, and because I think it's very interesting what you said, but I think it's too short a period of time right now to really understand,
Yes.
But if you and I'm just moving on to Mariam De Mello. Hi, Mariam. Would you want to say something? Introduce yourself.
Hi, it's me, Mumtaz, not Mariam, my babies.
Okay, but it
I'm
says
from home.
Mariam.
Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you looking so much younger.
That's nice. Thank you. Okay. Myself, Mumtaz, the serving soul, the founder of Healing Heaven Global. I think almost everyone has already spoken about, the soul healing, the karmic healing. This is exactly what we do. And here is the teaching of, to know the unknown and to see the unseen. Because we are living in the world, we are living with the five senses. So the teaching here is beyond the five senses. That is the sixth sense, where you understand the other worlds, the other dimensions people, to communicate with them and taking their help to cure n number of diseases of people in the world. And that's what I can say, it's to know the unknown and to see the unseen with the help of the higher dimensional being. In one word, in one line, if I have to say, can we live the life of the fifth dimension, being in the third dimension? So for that, you must, and everyone must have unconditional love energy. With that, we do the healing processes, starting from negative, removing negative energy, chakra healing, chakra balancing, relationship healing, mukti healing. The mukti healing is the ultimate way, assuming this is our last birth. After that, we don't want to take any birth on this earth.
Thinking of that, walk into that place.
So basically, I must say it's a very, very powerful karmic healing and soul healing, where we take helping hand from the highest dimensional beings, the light beings.
So thank you, Mumtaz, for being here. And so for those who don't know Mumtaz, she's a very charismatic lady. When I met her, she's got that aura around her, and she'll explain to you more about all the things that she does. But one thing which basically was I'm very interested to know more is that Mumtaz also focuses on people with depression and another big a big topic that people are facing today, especially with financial markets, with the turmoil in the financial markets and things happening, that people are getting very depressed, and that's a very topic. Now, depression can be cured with multiple therapies. It's not only one therapy.
Where she's based? Where she's based?
I'm based in Mumbai. Hi.
Mumbai, okay. Okay.
Mira Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Okay.
So depression is something that, even exercising or going for a run also basically helps. So this is a topic that we all need to really talk about and look at ways and things of different ideas and thoughts. But moving forward, Nina Softa, hi.
Hi, everybody. Namaste. My name is Neena. I'm from India, Mumbai. And as I was hearing David speak about his, how he got attached to, the beliefs of Indian, how we are, that some of our past life karmas that we are. So likewise, even I, throughout 47 years of my life, I was into yes, there's something wrong somewhere and I was not able to find out. And I would like to say I'm a cancer survivor. So when I was diagnosed cancer, that was the first time during my chemos, I went in to learn Reiki. So during my chemos, I learned Reiki 1. I completed my Reiki 1, 2, and 3. And I learned Lama Feras. And then I went on to learn during my radiations, that is Access Conscious. I did bar running and all. So there was lots that I learned when I actually got into that cycle of chemos and radiations. because till then I was into the mode of a victim mode. And as I got cancer and I was going through it, I realized that no, I'm a survivor, I'm a fighter. I just started coming out of victim mode. When I was diagnosed cancer, I happened to come across Samyama Healing Center, where I had got my healings from. It was that healing that helped me to come out of it. And that is what inspired me to go ahead and become one of the counselors for cancer patients and other people. Basically, I work with street children for their education and nutrition, you know. So inspired me to become a counselor. So Samyama Healing Center, I'm a freelancer volunteer over there. And recently we did a 21 days free healing for cancer patients, in which I was counseling various NGO cancer patients, who are there at various NGOs who come to Mumbai to different NGOs for treatment through Tata. So that's how I got connected to them. So I just happened to come across this webinar. It's a very beautiful platform that I'm hearing right now. So because of being one of the survivors, and my whole life changed of thinking okay, why I was suffering throughout these so many years. Cancer actually brought, after having cancer, it was not about cancer in my body, it was cancer around me, that I understood that actually we all need healing. So if we can become a small part of, on this earth, a little small part that can help people to come out of it, like I had to push myself on, I had received help from someone. So that is how I got into this, helping out people through counseling. And definitely, it was some soul call that I got connected to this webinar, when I have very beautiful people, beautiful soul who have been working for so many people. I'm so happy to hear everyone in different modalities and ways of helping humanity. So basically all going out of our way to help humanity. So it's a very beautiful opportunity to be with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just moving, Mr. Napa Ayurveda, sir, how are you? You have to unmute.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Lakshmi Dolwal, and we are healing the people through the Panchakarma. We are especially in the enhancing the power of healing through the quality stem cell production, as well as purification of body and the killing of the disease cells, that is through the phagocytosis. I'm in this field from last 32 years, and especially we are treating all complicated diseases where end-stage patients are come to our center after taking all sorts of treatment, and we heal them through the Ayurvedic Panchakarma treatment.
So for some reason we can't hear you that clearly. So I think if you could write all your contact information, because the voice is not coming clear.
Maybe if he turns his speaker volume up.
Yeah, maybe if you put this. Yeah, because is everyone else facing the same issue hearing him?
Exactly. Yeah. Can't hear. Can't hear.
Yes.
It's a bits and pieces like.
So we'll get back to you, sir, in a second. In the meantime, Angelic Healing, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you are.
Great, thank you. Well, I was actually, resting today when I got this email. All of a sudden, I checked, and I mean, this was something that happened out of the blue, and it was not even my regular email that I check. Often. It's like once a day or once in 2 days that I check it. And I was like, okay, let me see. And I was lying down actually, so that that's why I had to keep, saying later, when I got a request for joining with the video. So I'm sorry for that. That's why I kind of joined a little later, because I saw it late, the email that I got.
So where are you based? Where are you based?
Here, I'm in New Delhi, India.
Okay, and what do you practice?
Sure. My name is Christina, and yeah, I practice tarot card reading and angel card reading, angel tarot reading, and Reiki healing. I'm a Reiki grandmaster.
Okay, wow.
And I also do angel therapy or angelic healing and past life regression, hypnotherapy, Akashic record reading, and a few more modalities. So I got into spirituality very early. I think I was maybe 10 or 12 or something. I don't even remember now. So, and I started my sort of healing work as a child when I joined a Christian group, in school. So just a recreation thing that we had to go through. But then I realized, I think that is when I realized that I have some gift of healing. So, just playfully I would do it, or maybe it was faith or something, but I could heal pain back then slowly. And I also remember as a kid, I would get a lot of these dreams about things, and things would happen, and sometimes it was scary. So I was born a clairvoyant, a clairsentient. I could feel, hear, see things as a kid as well. So I think that's how I got into healing, which I didn't want to actually. I didn't want to. This is
Do you
not
feel
what I
like
did.
some people just have the gift and some don't, or everyone can activate it?
Everyone can activate it. We all do as kids. Some kids get scared and they can't explain what's happening. Yeah, sometimes kids wake up in the middle of the night screaming, crying or something, and then parents put them off to sleep saying it's nothing, but then there is something. I mean, I don't intend to get spooky here, but the point is that we all have gifts. We all have these inner abilities, and that's why, and the proof of it is our chakras and the explanation of all the chakras. For example, the third eye chakra, which is very much third eye chakra, crown chakra for our intuition, and our solar plexus chakra for all the clairsentient, activities or whatever we can sense.
Because sometimes when you look at theories of astrology and things like biofeedback and all these new things which have come up recently, is it like sometimes you think, are there no coincidences? Is like everything predefined, or is it your actions? And there's a lot of things that I mean, I'm looking at it in a layman's point of view, but for most of you who are more experienced and have experienced things, obviously think differently, and that's the idea of how we have connected, so we could all share, learn, and our platform can promote and work with you all, and
I love this question. This is a beautiful question. I'm sorry to cut you short, but this is a beautiful question, which I had been asking myself for many years. Is this predestined, or is it something that we can change, or, we can change things? Things are predestined. Both are correct. We are born with at a certain place at a certain time because of whatever that happened in the past. That is true. However, our choices today define what will happen in the present and in the future. We always have a choice. That's why we have spiritual teachers, so many gurus, Jesus Christ, Guru Nanak Dev Ji come up here and they told us what is right and what is wrong, the role of religion. Yeah. So we always have a choice of doing right or wrong.
I mean, I'm not just saying this, but I can feel your energy here. Am I just the only person who's feeling this, or can some of the other people also feel angelic with them, or is it just me?
Definitely can totally feel the vibes. Really beautiful angel-like energy.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
The flow is always constant. It's never stopping.
Yes, thank you so much, all of you. And I'm so glad to be connected with such beautiful souls. I get lovely energy from all of you.
Okay, so I'm just going to move to Chu in. Sorry, am I saying that right?
Chu Yin Chan.
Chu Yin Chan.
Hi. Yeah. Like angelic healing, I just spotted your email and it was like, oh, well, I'm late. but let's go in and see what you guys are like sharing. So incredible to be part of this group. And what I do is vibrational alignment, which can be, it's a distancing, channeling, and I work with essential oils, basically to get the body to start lifting vibrationally. So your body is ready to release. The more and more I work with people, I feel that there's this holding, you know, even when we have, when we're going into depression, when, you know, people, you psychologically sort of like you're there, but also your body's within that as well. And it's holding to survive, right? And, you know, and within traumas as well, you know, that's what we, you know, the body holds on to just to get through. So, yeah, so that's what I do. I basically work with the vibration of the body.
Where you are based?
I'm based in the UK. I originally got into my spiritual path when I was in Hong Kong. I'm born in the UK and I just got back from Hong Kong after 15 years. So I basically built my practice there. I joined.
So are you using some of the ancient Chinese methods?
No, I'm not. Basically, I'm mixing up a few modalities, because basically when I was working within a center, I got to meet so many different practitioners who, you know, did wonderful things, from you know, hypnotherapy, life coaches. So, you know, I'm from the way I work is also getting people to acknowledge themselves, because you can go through an energy healing and not know what's going on, right? The client, I've gone through them, and you go, I don't know what's going on. So to help that client articulate what they're doing, what they're going through, understand what their body's going through. So yeah, gosh, I really wasn't ready for this.
No. So I'm so glad that you've just spoken, and that's the idea of this thing, is that there's no formalities. It's very casual, and it's about bringing off guard, you know, just speak out your mind and learn and gain and get network with other people as well. So thank you so much, Chu Yin. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm just going to move to Mr. B. Sivaramappa. Sorry, sir. You got to unmute. So, yeah.
Yes, my dear friend.
So I'm just gonna introduce Mr. Sivappa a little bit. He does spiritual science, something very, very interesting, a really, really interesting subject. He's a very trained and experienced person, and he'll tell you more. And I'm really, really excited to be working with people like you, sir. You know, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Dharte. I'm very happy to be amongst you this evening. And at first, I would like to say that we are into the spreading of spiritual science and bring it to the surface of the society, which is not known in its true form at the. Actually, it is mistakenly taken as this sort of yogic practices and all those things, asanas, this, that. Nowadays, people are talking yoga. But in fact, spiritual science, every one of us must know. It is mandatory for every one of all of us, you know, to understand what is the spiritual science. Spiritual science is the study of noble values. As on today, you know, people are not aware of what is good, what is happiness, and what is pleasure, and what is that. In fact, the in-depth meaning and the implementable version of the meanings of these terms, you know, are completely forgotten in the current times of the humanity. So we should bring it about. Our ancient wisdom, which culminates from the science of meditation. And all those things, we have to revive. In the olden days, all the people who are wise enough, it's only they are called in Sanskrit term rishis. Rishi means the word rishi has come from the word ruk. Rug Veda. It is a Vedic concept. Ruk means to know. Veda means to know. This sort of Vedic knowledge, that is a wisdom. It is nothing but anything except man should become wise. There is education, but we are having the educated people always, found in not so wise enough. Some people turn unwise. Educated unwise people are also among us, and educated wise people also among us. But wisdom is a must for every one of us. So in order to bring back the wise as well as great performance capabilities in our daily life, and to make the life, a lovable factor, which in totality results in ethical and yogic excellence in our present day life. So this is the essence of spiritual science, and we have to inculcate the dictum of dharmam chara satyam vada. So these are all the terms which are totally not understood as on today by the people, because just it is missing in the academics as on today. Anyway, so we have to revive it. So we have made out our efforts through Spiritual Science Academy. We have trying to put all the spiritual insights, all the wisdom-oriented nuggets, that save the humanity from doldrums, that save the humanity from all sorts of sorrow. Yogo bhavati dukkha. It is very much, enlightened way, people have been, they have given the humanity the gift of spiritual education. So that education, we have to revive it again. So in that direction, we have designed smaller courses, 3 days course, 3 days, we are putting test. We have packed up enough this sort of spiritual wisdom and spiritual insights, spiritual secrets, including all sorts of, right from the creation to the salvation of the humanity, so that he can live his life, with a smiling always, and cheers and smiles on his face. It is the target of the spiritual science, and spiritual science alone can enlighten the man.
So why don't you leave your, I'll also put your contact details in the chat box, because it's a subject which needs a lot of time, but basically I think everyone's got a brief idea, and it's a very important subject, like you mentioned, that you have to revive it, which is the most important thing that you mentioned.
So
I think you've unmuted yourself, sir. So you have to unmute.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I think you have to unmute. Okay. Would anyone else like to say something or introduce themselves before we just speak about Dharte? Yes,
so
sir.
I'll just add a bit which was left in between. So not only Reiki and acupressure is what I do. I am into meditations, life coaching as well. Emotional wellness is my niche. and I am working
Hello.
with a few NGOs, and
Yeah.
now I have created my own structured emotional wellness system, which is the amalgamation of a few meditations and some psychological tools also, and the yogic practices plus the pranayam. So all this I am introducing in the adult schools, for the teenagers thing, for a complete balance of emotions and for a proper growth
So
in the
just,
whole
just
thing.
just to ask the audience, do you think that this is a subject which, I mean, spirituality as a subject needs to be introduced in school? Is that something which people think is an important thing? Or if you can't, if it's not in the
Yes,
school
yes.
curriculum, it should be taught by parents to their kids, which is from home.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
think so.
think
It's very, very, very important. It's very important. I have been administrative head of 3 schools. So when I look at children and their upbringing, I feel that we as parents have rubbed our thinking on them, and we are not allowing them to nurture on their own. Spirituality as a subject, if it is like we had used to have moral science, we used to have religion in school as a subject. Spirituality is somewhere we will connect to ourselves if it is introduced. When you talk about spirituality, usually it is like, oh God, spirituality. It's like, because spirituality is not religion based. It's something actually going back to your
Yeah,
roots or going within
you think
yourself.
there's a sorry to interrupt you on that, but do you think there's a misconception where spirituality and religion
Yes,
are combined?
yes,
Very
yes,
true.
yes.
Very
They
true.
are combined. When you talk
Both
about
are
spirituality,
both are
yeah,
separate.
they're both very
People
different.
mistake them to be one. Yes,
Yeah.
that is
It's like,
something.
when you talk about spirituality, they think we're trying to rub something on them because we're asking them to close their eyes or do some meditation. They feel anything connected to meditation is Hinduism or yoga or something like, they get into, they have that myth about this thing. So usually spirituality is connected, they feel it is connected to religion. So if you have to go actually explain it to them. And I think so, my age group, we have missed a lot about, about spirituality. I was not at all aware about spirituality. I only knew about Hinduism. I only knew about Christianity because I was in a Catholic school.
So you
it's
think
like
there
this.
is, because I feel so, and I do think that recently there is a conscious shift which is happening in the generation, and from whether it being people understanding about being more environmental friendly, which is all connected to the same thing, whether you saving water, it's a basic, it's the thought that is coming to people which they're realizing,
Yes, yes.
It's
But this
like,
is
can I say?
yes.
It's like when we talk about religion, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
When we talk about religion, it's like, the fish is there in the fish tank, that's a religion. The same fish, you put it in the ocean, that's a spirituality.
Absolutely.
It is so huge, so vast, and कहीं ना कहीं लोग अटक जाते हैं. ठीक है, अपनी अपनी मर्जी है, लेकिन हम ज्यादा कुछ नहीं बोल सकते रिलीजन के बारे में. लेकिन as you said, like schools में, या I think the parents should be knowing more about spirituality, ताकि घर से इनकी पढ़ाई शुरुआत हुई. जो हमारे नसीब में नहीं था वो सब पढ़ाई, हम सब रिलीजन में अटक गए. लेकिन ये I think you should work on,
Also,
that
I would like to add something on this. So one thing is, when we say spirituality basically means spiritual, spirit. And everything has energy. If you even look at atom, and when you go on dividing it, you have 99% of it which is empty spaces. So what are these empty spaces? That is energy basically. And which means that learning about spirituality is like the essence of everything. If you want to understand money, or you want to understand basic values, you need to start from essence. And I think spirituality is one of the best ways to get to identify who we are and to go through our very essence.
Hajia, you wanted to say something? Sorry to interrupt. Hajia, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. You said something. You said there's a conscious shift these days that people are beginning to open up to understand the difference between spirituality and religion. And people are beginning to understand that there's a limitation in religion because they are beginning to be aware of themselves and knowing that certain things about themselves is not really in line with the religion that they practice. So they are beginning to listen. I remember when I started with my healing practice, when I was practicing to be a healer, I had really serious difficulty, especially with my family, understanding what I was up to, because they thought I was going into the occult. But when, like David said he has not seen anyone who is into healing that has not gotten something added to it. There's always a value that you add to yourself as you go into this process of healing, which is also spiritual. With the value I had was that I was becoming more aware and I was becoming telepathic. So I started telepathically communicating with plants, and I was getting information with plants to the extent that I was invited to talk about it on a radio show. So I have my own radio show.
So
So
just to
now
ask you, when you say talking to plants, you mean communicating with plants?
telepathically. So because I was learning quantum touch and then spirituality, of course, everything starts activating in you. And then you just shift. This shift just come by itself. You don't even have to think about it. You're just attracted to it. And then this happened because in quantum touch, you have to practice playing with energy. You practice it, just keep practicing. So I was practicing healing a plant, and then I mean, it just started. So I went deep into it and I started interviewing plants. And when I interview, I get answers. So I have a radio show where I read this interview and the answer. So I'm like the reporter now, telling people what plants
Are these
are talking.
any type of plants or any specific or
Any
any plant, tree,
type,
anything?
any type. And then when I got into it, I started noticing that a lot of healers understand that it must not be herbal plant. It must not be specific kind of mushroom plant or shamanic kind of plant, but they're beginning to understand that there's a consciousness that every plant has, that
Because
we have to, relate
To add to this,
with
it
that.
just reminds.
So let me finish, because then somebody started telling me, a very religious family called me or sent me a message and said their children, a child of hers, just told her that a plant was speaking to him. So because she's so religious, it was driving her crazy. So she told me that she thought I was going crazy. She thought I was crazy when she heard me. But now her own child is telling her, and she never discussed that with the child. So when you say there is a conscious shift going on in the planet, I'm like, yes,
I
there
agree,
is a
100%.
conscious shift going on. And religion is going to evolve. We just give it time. People will shift, and things you will get people coming to you and telling you things that used to be a strange thing, but in time it's going to be something that it's going to be a common thing. I mean, speaking with
Psychic
plants, I was
Hunter, would
like,
you like to add
wow, you're
something?
speaking with plants. But
Well,
now
I
people are,
think
relating
she's
with
very.
it.
I didn't mean to cut her off. I think she's very accurate in regards. Every living element of the whole world is so complex in regards to interactive energy. When I see an animal, I would go as a boy to the zoo. Elephants would come to me. Tigers would come to me. In my building here, there's a lady that has a sick dog. The dog knew that I would work with healing with it. I worked with the dog, and I'd never really gotten into that because I've developed my own problems with my own physical health from doing the readings all these years. I'm sure the gentleman that is the fellow that was affiliated with you spoke so intensely about spirituality and love. The thing with us as human animals ourselves is that it can damage our transmitters. And I was doing so many readings at one point where I started to develop a neurological problem. And the neurologist said to me, he said, "You don't think you're psychic, do you?" And I said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "Because," he said, "your left lobe and your right lobe is damaging." And he said, "It's the third eye." And he was just fabulous. And I said, "I have a feeling this is what's going on." So energy extracts itself.
Is that
from
because
every
you're
living
giving?
thing.
Is it because you're giving away your energy and healing
I wasn't
someone
protecting
else?
myself. I wasn't protecting myself. I was doing so much work that all the energy was leaving from this center of my body. And I all of a sudden started getting headaches above my left eye, and I would, have 6 clients in a day, and I was really burning out. Like I was really, and I don't drink alcohol, and I maybe have a scotch. I'm not like that. But what happened is that the body started to break down. And we as human animals, I mean, We have to be aware of our physical self. But it's getting back to the aspect about plants and trees. And when plants come into my experience and I start to give them love and you shower them with that unconditional energy, they start to grow from plants that would be perceived outside of that space as dying. The same thing with animals. When I see an animal, I emotionally right away connect because they are linked to us. We're all linked on this world. There's greater meanings and greater essence in every aspect of energy. Most of every spiritual healer, even Gandhi spoke about this, that we are part of a vast, vast energy field of the universe we're not even fully aware of yet. We don't even really know. And I think that the heightening of consciousness that people have spoken about is the fact that man, during this Aquarian Uranus energy, we are now ready to ascend to higher knowledge. Where I get myself worked up, and I think it's in my own past life influence, I learned about greed. I learned about entitlement in a past life, probably Georgian England. And I brought it into this life, and it angers me because I can read thoughts and it causes me a lot of problems. And I would become resentful over arrogance to such a degree that it would infuriate me. And I think to myself, why are you allowing this? You're allowing past life influence to interfere with the now. They have to work through their own experience. So, you know what I'm saying? Is like, I don't like white entitlement. I don't like any entitlement. And it really bothers me because I see it and I feel like Bridget Jones at the dance. I always joke about that. But I just feel that there's so much more about us. Who could walk by someone suffering on the street, a child? Like you said, you were working with street children. I would love to be able to come and do that in India. Because, you know, I was an adopted child. In Victorian England, I would have been a bastard child thrown into a workhouse. You know, in this lifetime, I've been given the gift of acknowledgement. And the acknowledgement and the spiritual ascension is that I've been able to give back. I've made a wage to carry my life. I'm not worried about being a millionaire. I want to be able to do that. And you know, when you start to understand that about your own spiritual experience, sure, it's going to bring up anger. Anger is part of our human animal. It is a defense mechanism. When we know somebody is here, we know it's still part of the Precambrian energies that we carry. But it's amazing to understand what this whole story is evolving into. And we are evolving to another level. I say that to clients here. I have clients where I live in Toronto that say, well, you know, I'm Muslim, or I'm a Smiley, or I'm Hindu, or I'm Catholic. And I said, that's okay. I said, that's okay. But I said, when we're here together, we're going to accept all of those teachings, and we're going to go beyond into the now, into what is happening in your reality right now. And like you said about cancer, my mother died when I was very young of cancer, and I knew she was dying before she was dying. That age, I was 15, I already knew I was very psychic. I saw ghosts, I saw spirits. I mean, they do walk. There's ghosts where I live here in Toronto.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to get to Priyanka, Jen. I'm just going to get to you in a minute. I know you've been asking, you've been raising your hand. I just want to say, Psychic Hunt, I didn't get your name. What's your first name, sir?
My first name is Hunter. It's Hunter David.
Okay.
Everybody calls me Hunter David.
Okay, Hunter, perfect. So I'm just saying is, these abilities that you developed, is it something that you can just activate just as you know, as the day goes by, or is it like, I know some people, they say like when they take maybe a substance or they take something that activates their third eye.
No, I don't take any substance at all.
No, I didn't mean to say that. I'm just saying is, I'm just trying to.
No, some people do. Listen, you know, some people do. With me, I think what it is, I'll tell you something interesting. With COVID shutdown in Canada, I actually now have been doing most of my readings all over the world on the phone. I don't really want to do them on Skype, because one of the things that I believe sometimes is that with Skype, we tend to self-associate reaction. And I don't want to see reaction. I want to sense and feel psychically what I'm sensing, and my clients are absolutely loving it. And like I said, it's not so much about the Hunter Williamson, the psychic. I don't need to be that. It's the fact that when they leave the story, they say, as when all your healers today know, they say, thank you. Thank you for enabling me to have peace today. In this exact moment.
And that's what makes you happy. And that's what
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I think it's this lifetime. Like I said, the fellow Sean years ago, the fellow that I told you was from Mumbai. He said to me, he said, all the things that took place in your experience, your adoption, you know, your mother dying, you going into the psychic ability, he said, you were here to pay back for an English lifetime where you were not a nice person. And he said, essence of that will come through when you're attracted to antiquity, or he says you get angry. He said, that's then, and you've got to be able to try to work that through. Each one of us know we can become that. We can, these are all part of the human necessity to become upset, angry, loving, happy. These are all part of it. But when getting to what the girl I'm looking at right now was talking about creative visualization and meditation, meditation is a fantastic tool to actually attract love and joy and positive in your energy. I don't do it as much as I want to, and I'm very good at doing meditation. I'll tell you, when I came back very quickly from Los Angeles, a friend gave me the book by Shakti Gawain. She took the Indian name, and she wrote a very famous book called Creative Visualization. I read that book and I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning finishing it. The first time I did that.
You think you can heal yourself? You know, they say when you have a backache, if you visualize the vertebrae, yes, you can pretty much automatically heal yourself. Is that legit? I can. The problem with the slight neurological thing that developed, he said, is not going to change. He said what it is an energy force, he said, that is because of continual. He said one day, the doctor was very honest. He said, one day you'll probably have an aneurysm, you'll be gone. But he said, I want you to understand that you're okay right now. You're in your mid-50s, you're okay. So the thing is, I think it's being able to be, I'm so glad that we've got to connect. And I think what you're doing is magnificent. Remember, it's not about an external reward. It's really that you are creating something that is needed right now. We know this. We know that this is needed. It's needed on a world level because people need something more. COVID has caused a stop in the progression. And now it's about the reboot. I think the New World Order. Sorry to interrupt you, Priyanka. You want to say something before you leave? So sorry, she just wanted to. Sorry, that's okay. No.
No, it's okay. Basically, I was referring to, the point that we were discussing before. For kids, in India especially, there is a concept that spirituality is for people who are, 50 plus, for the aged and not the young ones.
Yes.
So whenever you tell them about meditation or you talk about spirituality, they're like, I'm too young. This is the time for us to party. But yes, spirituality should be introduced, but spirituality has to be introduced in terms of virtues, in terms of things like gratitude, honesty, responsibility, these kind of things. And another point that I wanted to add was, about the shift of the consciousness. Yes, the humanity is bound to have a shift. It is meant to have shift for us to evolve. Otherwise, why do you think we would have a event, on a global level that would affect people? It does not matter whether they are rich or poor, because if COVID affects you, you have to get quarantined. Your money doesn't help you, or whatever it is, it doesn't help you. So why is it that we are having this? So there is an evolution that everyone is meant to have. Previous century we had the World War, and this century we have this. So there is going to be some event always happening to make this shift, and it is basically to help us connect with our higher self, because when we misalign or when we go away from our purpose, it's that when we get into these kind of troubles with the nature, with things in our life.
Thank you so much for your words. Rukshar, you want to say something?
Yeah, it's Rusar, not Rukshar. Sorry.
I'm so sorry, sir. Rusar,
it's Rusar. Rusar is with the Ru, which I do. Like that. I believe in that. So I just want to add that part. Like, it's wonderful to hear from everybody and the different practices, different modalities. Like people like us who are, I believe, are slightly more sensitive than normal people who do. And this sensibility we need to develop to understand our environment, our connectivity with other people, including the protection or the nature and the people around us, and as well as to make them understand Friddar's sensibility, how to grow and then multiply to this. This is not the only our thing that we are going to connect or help other people. That I do in my own practices, in my own practice for like 23 years into this field.
Definitely.
But this is, I want to just add it, like in this platform, at least leave something what you are doing it and how to connect with each other and how to help, just in case in the future if somebody is coming in my side or I'm going to your side, at least we should do it. That's the kind of platform I need to know, add it.
Definitely. So Myra Reiki, what did you think of, you've obviously been quiet. What did you think about everything? Can you give us some of your feedback?
I think it's very good to have this conversation. There was several years ago, we were going to do something similar. It was called The Difference, but it was very hard for the person to organize. And so it's good to see this revival. And I think it'll, thank you for doing this. It's good. And yeah, with the magnified healing I do, the emphasis is on how it's spiritual and isn't any particular religion. And that's basically, what I believe. One of my first healings I received, I knocked on a neighbor's door and they said, "Oh, are you the person come to be healed today?" And I said, "Well, I have 15 minutes." And they healed a damaged tailbone I had. And then I went back a couple months later and I said, "Oh, I tore my rotator cuffs. Can you heal that?" And they said, "Well, do you only believe in Jesus?" And I said, "Oh, I was raised Catholic. I believe the God, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost." And I didn't tell them I also believed in Buddha and Muhammad and, and I believed in but they wouldn't heal me. And I said, "Well, maybe if you healed me, then something else would go wrong. I really have to start my own healing. I really have to work on myself. And then as I do that, I can help others, and helping others is really a very wonderful goal in life. It's a very high goal to help others. And we struggle. And yes, if we don't take care of ourselves, it makes it very hard. When I first started doing healing, I'd say to people, "Do you have an hour and a half for healing?" And they'd say, "Everybody else takes less time." And then I realized it was because,
do you feel like
I'm just going to finish with this.
Yeah, okay.
That I needed to do my own healing. So we're all connected. When we heal ourselves, heal each other. And I could tell a little Zen story like that. That would be the best thing to say. There was a Zen monk came out and all the little gourds were sitting and they were fighting. And he said, "Put your hand on the top of your head." And they all had this little thing coming out. And he said, "We're all connected. So if we don't do our healing, we don't help the others. If we don't help the others, we don't help ourselves." So yeah, sorry I went off on that other tangent.
No, I was just trying to make a connection with Hunter's, what he said earlier. Do you feel also with a lot of your healings, you do get drained and you pass your energy off to other people?
Well, that's what I was saying, that if I don't do my healing, I cannot take care of others. I cannot take care of myself.
Yes.
So it's one of the most important things, and it's one of the hardest things for healers to do. You get so focused on others that you pay no attention to yourself.
That's right.
You need to have
here I would like to just say, yes, Tarun, here I would like to say, because I have, remember in 2015, a priest from Ghana, Africa, coming to us, to me as a healer, he himself is a priest, but while doing the healing in the church, and end of the church services, he used to be on the bed for 3 days or 4 days because of lot of negative energies and all the things. So when he did the workshop, we have a very, very powerful spiritual protection shields, So this is just a piece of advice, as we are from the same community. The moment we are on our job, whatever we do, the first thing is better. We think that we are the servant of God. We are just, it's not I doing, it's we do.
Energy. It's
Not
energy.
I.
Energy.
The moment we say I am doing, so definitely you're going to attract a lot of energy.
You're blocking your own energy.
Exactly. The moment you just be like a funnel, basically, the funnel, it comes and it goes. There is no filtering, The moment we consider ourselves as a servant, as a funnel, I think nothing should affect us. It's just, it comes and it goes. Nothing should affect us because we have been surrounded by the dimensional beings light, the divine light.
That's why they call mediums.
Mediums.
Yeah, I am working as a medium.
You're nothing.
I'm just saying.
You're nothing.
So please
just
don't
receive
feel
and
what
give.
I'm saying. It's just for everyone, Think that we are just a servant of divine, and whatever he is saying, we are just doing. This is the way we can help the humanity to raise towards the higher consciousness.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Just before we go ahead, because we're running short of time. Sorry, I know a lot of people want to say things, but it's just that we run short of time, and we'll have a lot of people leaving. So the main reason for today's webinar was basically to bring all of you all together. Okay. Now, Dharte is a platform. Like I told you, I'm doing my own business, but it so happened I have this property in Mud Island, which is in Bombay, where we were going to start doing Airbnbs. So we named the property Dharte, right? And then I just wrote to all the healers to come and do an event there. And one thing led to another, and now we're starting a platform. It's not like I didn't want to start. I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to start this. I've got my own business, which is Fashionably In. We run an event in London. We do virtual shows. That's why you saw Fashionably In. But because I have all this, because we have all the software, the technology, so we just branched out of what we had, and we had no idea of starting Dharte as a healing platform. It was just like, okay, we got this property in Mud Island. Let's rent it out on Airbnb. Now, okay, how do we make more revenue by renting out an Airbnb? Let's have healers come in and do like their shaman workshops. Let's do a workshop, like a different workshop, maybe a taekwondo workshop one day, do a yoga workshop one day, do a depression workshop one day, do a sound healing workshop one day, do different kind of, Reiki workshop one day. So, and then one thing led to another, and we started this platform. So it's like crazy how things push you in a direction, where like I just feel this force calling me to make this platform, get everyone together. We got this good name, Dharte, which means earth, and now just basically talk to people of how we can build this platform, and we can do this event once a year. So we do an event once a year in Goa, because Goa, I think, it's in India. I don't want to do Rishikesh, because I think Goa is more of an action place. A lot of people would like it. They like cool restaurants, cool bars. I mean, I'm not saying that, I know this is healing, but you want it to be in a place where there's that activity going on, where people are coming
Things are happening.
Where things are happening.
You should enjoy the spirituality,
Yeah.
Enjoyment you learn, I think
things
that will take you to the other level.
So the idea was just to connect with all of y'all, get your advice. Okay, so we got this platform now. We got all these people from all over the world, because that's what I do with my fashion business, is connect people and organize B2B meetings. So we're good with connecting people, and we have agents. So like we have a whole network of agents from South America to Africa to Australia, all these agents who sell services of ours. So basically I was just going to offer them, okay, these are healers. Now you can even sell healing services in your locality. So it's like a whole chain of things that come back to a platform where you make the client happy, the healers happy, the platform's happy, the agent's happy, everyone's happy,
Exactly.
And obviously there's some exchange of money. Like I mentioned, this is not my main business, so I don't mind. It's like whatever you guys charge, we're going to split the profits from that, and everyone will make money. I mean, obviously the server needs to be played, the advertising needs to be played, but those are nominal things. I don't even mind footing the bill. Even if we don't make money, that's not a problem for now. But the idea is making this platform solid, good, with good people on it from all over the world, where we can all interact with each other as well and learn from each other. And it's like a community. So that's the idea of Dharte.
Wow. I just had a suggestion to make. What if we can have a group together, like on some virtual platform, where we would be connected not only during these Zoom meetings that we have, but even otherwise, so that, talking to them and getting contact details would become more easier. So maybe not exactly WhatsApp.
I'm giving you a WhatsApp group link right now. I'm just giving you one WhatsApp group link where everyone can join, and all of y'all can put your information and share. Because see, at the end of the day, like a lot of people came to me, I'm like, why are you sharing all your information with everyone? But I believe in a different philosophy of open source way of working. And that's how we've been successful in our other business as well. It's where we connect everybody. And obviously we have different programs where we sell and we make money. And that's not not like mandatory you need to buy our services, but if you want it, you can. Like in our fashion business, we connect people, we have a membership, and because we do our webinars, which are free, our membership sells more. So the same thing with Dharte, we can, it's not about the money right now, but it's about obviously doing something right with the right people, you know?
And
See, in
something
that case,
together
I would like
to make a proper system out of it. Because until unless we don't have a system, you cannot run the things at a bigger level. And when we are talking about oneness and awakening awareness about the spirituality at family level, at grandparents level, then you need to get together and make a common mission where you not only heal, but you actually create awareness about the highest self of every person. Because everyone knows about their false self and they're not aware about their true self. The true self is that which is immortal, and false self is that which is at pain, which is suffering, which is always under irritation. And that kind of awareness need a platform. And if you contemplate on this, I'm sure that we can have a great vision.
I just have to ask, sir, you have a wonderful voice. I really think you should like, you know, I mean, I really think a very soothing voice, you know?
Thank you so much.
So before we, so basically, like I mentioned, before we end today's session, it was just about getting to know all of you, and you get to know us, because see, at the end of the day, you need to know us, we need to know you, and we're going to give you a platform where we're going to get you people for your services from all over the world. How we do it is through our agent network, who they get commissions also. So it's a whole network which is planned, which is very clear cut. There's no pyramid scheme. It's like the agent sells your service, they get a 15% commission. It's very straightforward. There's no pyramid scheme or anything. It's just like, these are the services, these are the agency commissions. And so
that's wonderful.
It's not that. It's because people have to make an effort. Like, say, a lot of these services are sold on word of mouth. And that's the reason why we want to do this. You would say reseller, you'd call it agent, you'd call it, you know, commission, whatever you call it in your own words. But it's about people bringing you business, but from other parts of the world. That's the idea. You know?
And it's all about creating more awareness and spreading more love in everyone. And if you need some agents to do that, nothing better than that.
Sure. You want to sell your
And
property,
also,
you're going to get an
Saroj,
agent.
just one word. Can we make it as a practice every month, each month, one of us, you know, can able to conduct the free seminar for those people who are seeking, like, you know, the helping hand from any of us, like, you know. So, एक महीने में एक जन का free seminar रखो. Let it go throughout the world, like, you know. From there, people, you can select, like, you know, let them select, you know, which is the best healing modalities they would like to, you know, have it. So maybe you have to sit and plan, you know.
So does anyone have, before we end, I just want to ask each one of you your advice and how do you think we can all work together? So I'm going to start with, just speak out of turn, or if you want me to call out, or Infinite Wellness, I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah, so I was saying your idea about meeting once a year in your at your place in Goa, your property in Goa, that is one physical meeting.
Our properties in Mud Island. Our properties in Mud
Island.
Island.
Okay.
So
Mud
this
Island.
is
So
that's in Bombay. But Goa, we were thinking of a festival, like a festival once a year, a 3-day festival.
Spiritual festival. You can name it a spiritual festival.
So even for that, the festival thing, you know, people should be aware of like who are the healers and where they are. For that, you know, our presence in your list of clients should be visible, right? Like Mariam said rightly, that if we have on a frequent basis, if we have continuous webinars from all of us, so all of us would also get to know about each other's services, and we can vouch for one another, and we can also, you know, add into the selling process.
100%.
Right? So together we would be a team.
Yeah.
Together we would be a team, and together we can come up with more platforms and maybe more places. You know, we can collaborate in a better way, because then we would get a better rapport amongst ourselves as well.
And learn from each other as well, because everyone's got like you know, like,
I would like to add more skills into my skill set, and maybe I may provide something to others. So it is a mutual win-win situation. So that is something which I would like to recommend. If we can get more into this, and even if we get a client interface with all of us.
So simultaneously, we are working on the platform. I know it's a little slow right now, and I know Mumtaz, we were supposed to get on things maybe
No,
a
it's
few
not.
weeks ago.
I mean, it's not slow. It's very fast. You are moving fast.
Okay, yeah, I know, but I think we're like 30 days. We were supposed to do something like, but it's like, listen, I believe like things happen for a reason, you know. Fortunately, I'm thankful for being born to a family where I didn't, you know, where things were a little easier. But my point being is that is that just, I believe in, like, you have to just go as it comes, you know. Don't just keep like as it comes, you know, like, you know, it comes, it happens. If this happens, if this Goa thing happens, we get the funding from the government to fly all of you down, free ticket, free 5-star stay, you know. Hopefully COVID will end by then. It's all, if it happens, it happens, you know. I just hope, you know, that's our goal.
There's no
Power
hope.
of
It will happen.
manifestation will work. Don't worry. So many healers together will manifest your dreams.
It's not about, I'll be honest with you. See, I really believe, and I really believe that if my father had not gone into this Tata hospital and medical cancer treatment, and he had gone a whole different, had gone a whole different way, because one problem led to another. I'm pretty sure that I still believe people die when they die, but I don't know, maybe he would have had I don't know, you know. I just feel he could have had a more prolonged life, maybe more years.
One thing I would like to add you is, really sorry that your father has left, but actually he is right now here with you, and he's among us also.
No. So another thing is that I do think I speak to him, but I don't really talk about this because people think I'm mad. So, you know.
No. It is really, he is very much present in your senses, and right now I can see that.
Actually, even the other day when the event took place, the physical event, even he could be sensed around you, you know, when the event actually took place in Mud Island and some of the healers were there. So he is already there, and it did look like he is a large part of the ideas that get through to you and how you're implementing it, executing it. So he is there, you know, as a support, just that you can't see him, but he is there, and he could be sensed even during the event.
So
don't worry, Tarun. We will be teaching you the technique how to get communicated to all the unseen energies, the departed souls, the loud one.
No, because
you'll be there.
It's not that, but I know, but I know what you mean, but I don't know, like, I really don't like talking about it much because people don't really understand it, you know?
No, we understand it.
So here you have the opportunity to speak your heart out. All of us are on the same plane.
Yes, totally.
So before we, would you like to say something, Myra?
Yes. Could you put in the chat what your name and contact is, and you know, and what the name of the place would be, and if you have any idea when it might be, so we could, you know, think and plan.
So we were thinking, I mean, this is what I was thinking. See, Goa is literally the Ibiza of India. Believe it or not, it is the most beautiful beaches, and everyone is there. You know, you want to do it in a place where everyone's at. Goa is more multicultural than New York, than London. There are more nationalities in Goa, probably as many nationalities in Goa as New York or London. That's how multicultural Goa is. Okay, so we were thinking November, because see, November is when it starts getting busy, but the first week of November, which is like during Diwali season, which is like maybe 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th of November, this is when you're going to get the hotels obviously less full, so it's not that crowded, you know. But this way you get, you'll still have a lot of action happening there. So it'll be popular. There'll be buzz around it. And Simon, I mean, so this is the time, maybe the first week of November. Is that something good with people?
Yeah.
Yes. As long as there are
and
no
also, Tarun, definitely, the moment you speak about Goa, I can just think about dance, not healing up.
No, but dance is also healing. Dance is also healing.
I know.
Dance itself is a healing.
So with enjoyable, like, you know, momentum, you know, that kind of mind will help people. Not serious mood.
And could
We
you
need to
type
plan.
in what the name of it's an island it would be on?
No,
it is a state.
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 It's called Goa, Goa. You can just
Okay, but
Google
you
it,
said
Goa.
that there was another place that
Okay, so
began with.
our place where I am right now, actually, I can show you it. Okay, so this is I'm in beautiful Mud Island right now, which is basically going to be a yoga, was eventually like our yoga retreat. You can see.
How do you spell that?
MUDH, mud.
You can see the garden. It's beautiful over here, you know. So this is supposed to be like our small retreat center, which we were initially planned, but then that's what I said. We were planning to market this, which then led to starting the platform because we connected with all of y'all.
And how do we contact you?
Don't worry, we'll contact you, like how we contacted you.
Through that WhatsApp conversation?
Yeah, we
link
have your
you have
contact
for-
details. Just leave your contact on the chat box so other members can contact you as well.
Exactly. That's what I was telling, that everybody should know each other now. Some people might be coming, like joining later on, or somebody only have left it. So we should know who's doing what and where they are based. That's what I was. So thank you for once again for giving such a wonderful platform, for meeting
Yes,
such a
certainly.
wonderful people around us.
Yes.
And definitely we will plan accordingly. I'll have to plan my schedule whenever I'm getting free. I'm planning to be in India in August. Hopefully the COVID will be like and manageable at that time.
Last question to everyone. Sorry, I know this is a touchy subject. I know I'm not going to take the vaccine, and if I can't travel, I'm stuck. But I'm happy being stuck. You know, I don't know about other people.
Well, you know, I'm going to
I haven't
take
taken
the
vaccine, nor
AstraZeneca.
am I planning to.
I'm going to take it because, listen, when I was a boy, we had diphtheria, we had typhoid, we had my doctor, who's Indian, Dr. Sud. He said to me that he would rather I take the one from England because it's in the old school style of vaccines. He would rather I stay away from the other ones. Now, he's telling me that, and he's been my doctor since he came out of med school. I trust him.
Now the question is that is it available and acceptable by other countries? That's the question. It's not the
Well, in
question from where
Canada
we
here, I
get.
mean, you know, they're doing the same thing. I mean, the health minister is going to stop people at the border. You're not going to be allowed to leave. You're not going to be allowed to go anywhere.
Exactly. You can't have a visa or tickets until you
That's
have
right.
your vaccination on that way.
That's
So
right.
we have to take care of that.
But Dr. Sud, my doctor is fantastic. He's just, you know, he said to me, he said, I would not allow my parents, his parents are still alive, to have any other vaccine than this one, than the one from Oxford. And he studied that when he was at school in India, and then when he came here and finished his education here. So, I mean, if he's that adamant, and I know how retentive he is, he's adamant. He said, this is the only one you're getting. So I went on the list for it because I'm 55 here in Toronto. At the drugstores, we can now go and actually have the vaccine. I mean, I'd rather not because I've been fine, but I'm working with clients. I'm not seeing anybody right now. They're all on the phone for now. But I'd rather that because I want to come to India. I want to travel and open up and do things. And I don't want to be stuck.
Hopefully that till November, it will be over. It will be like under control. Already things are going well. So hopefully things will be pretty under control to travel, to allow us to travel.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I'll give you a little kudos. I mean, what was her name? The woman, the American that was the psychic. She actually predicted this. I can't remember her name now. She passed away a few years ago. She predicted that there would be a virus in 2020 that would wipe across the world, and it would come in as fast as it would leave, but it would come back 10 years later with a vengeance. And I can't remember her name now. She was sort of blonde haired. She was used to be on all the TV shows because she would see ghosts and everything, but she was pretty accurate about that. That book was written years before she died. And that was pretty freaky. Sylvia Browne, if you read Sylvia Browne's book, she predicted the virus in 2020. And she said it would be a virus caused by animals. It would spread across the world. It would come as fast as it would leave, but 10 years later, it would come back with a vengeance. And I've always remembered what she wrote. It made my stomach sink. So I think we still have to all be really careful about this.
What's
I
her
know
good
it's been
name,
prompt.
David? What's
Pardon
her
me?
name? Can you please?
Her name is Sylvia Brown. She passed away about 4 or 5 years ago, and she wrote the book many years ago.
Can you able to share the book name and the author name, please?
I don't remember. I think it's just her biography.
Hunter,
or
just
her,
if you could
her
write the
story.
name, Hunter, if you could write the name on the chat box, it'll be better
I will.
for Mumtaz. Yeah,
It's just interesting to read other people's philosophies and views. She was unbelievably psychically accurate about it. I mean, there was no way she would have known this. And I mean, look at it. It's a year later and they've developed a vaccine. So she was pretty accurate. She was pretty accurate. That's what I'm saying is that psychic ability causes very different elements within the physical body. You know, the healing aspect for me, I'm fine with. I can work with animals and people interactively. But psychic ability, when you are channeling energy about a person's destiny, where they're going to go from here, it can create a lot of neurological damage. I've had neurologists tell me, I was at a party 2 years ago in one of our affluent neighborhoods that I was invited to. I didn't really want to go, but I went. And he cornered me and he said, you don't know what you're doing and what you're dealing with. And I said, well, I do. And I said, I know it can be damaging. He said, it causes difficulty, he said, with the brain's neurotransmitters. And he firmly believed that I was psychic. I mean, I joked with him and I said, I bet you're a Libra. He said, how did you know I was a Libra? I said, it was a sense. And, you know, these types of things, they do cause problem with the physical self. You can do a lot of protection. I do meditate all the time, but there's something that starts to wear away at the psychic and the physical self, the combination of the two, skeletal, spiritual, etc. It's a really intense theory. It'd be wonderful for someone to actually do a documentary on psychics and what actually happens to them in the course of their lifetime.
It's strange how you just said the word documentary, because that was our next thing that we were working on.
That'd be fabulous to do. I would be part of it, because this has definitely been a calling in my life. It was
You know,
it was a
if you
calling.
really have to get into making the documentary films, there are n number of like experiences we can share with you, Tarun.
Oh, for sure. That'd be fantastic. I know. Well, I'm just dying to get to come to Goa, because I had a friend, Ian, that passed away many years ago, and his mom and dad were from Goa. And I want to go and you know, I really want to experience. India's been on my mind a lot over the last few years. And it's interesting, every one of my professionals is from India. Everyone.
Wow.
Like, you know, every doctor, my accountant, it's just, I said, what is this? The Hindu Sikh thing? You know, it's like everybody. And I love it. And of course, African too. My adopted mother was actually part African American. I've been so blessed in this lifetime by diversity. And, you know, I don't even look at it. I don't even think about it. I mean, someone comes in to say, hey, you know, I'm from Jamaica. I said, that's okay. I said, I didn't even think about it. You know, to me, the thing about life is when we can get beyond by looking at someone's eyes and beyond the physical structure that is merely creating the skeletal form, you actually then understand an essence of energy. And energy obviously emits all over. I mean, the gal that's doing the weaving, I love Philadelphia. I used to go to the antique stores, the antique fairs that were in Philly and in the East Coast of the United States. You know, the psychic ability, this attraction and this interaction that happened today that I committed to, I wanted to commit 2 weeks ago and I missed the time.
It got postponed. It got postponed. We postponed it last time. And just
okay, good. I was glad. I thought I missed it.
Okay,
just wanted to ask you, what is the next action plan of yours?
So the next action plan is onboarding all of y'all. So basically understanding from each one of y'all, what are your services? What are your charges? What are the way, how do you conduct the thing? So that's the first thing. Then we list them. So then we decide, okay, these are the products. This is what we wanted. These are the services that we list them. We even do a few free webinars. Like for example, like on the group we mentioned, we're going to do that Vesak. Vesak is a meditation for Buddha, you know, where you call Buddha, he comes to earth for 8 minutes, and then there's a whole, so we're doing like the demonstration for that on Sunday. One of the instructors, Miss Lakshmi, she's going to be giving a demonstration.
So that will be online on Zoom?
Online, yeah.
It will be online?
So we're going to be doing a lot of free webinars in this next month, basically. Also free and also paid ones also. Yeah. So both, you know, and basically testing the market, seeing what people's response are, and just understanding everything. And then, like I said, there's no rush. Let's just take it as it comes. There's no rush in it. Let's just take it as it comes. But let's get good people involved.
Peace, yeah.
So, Hygia, would you like to say any closing statements, because you've been listening a lot? Just some closing statements.
Yeah, actually no, but because you asked me, I'm going to say something. Okay, I think no, I don't think actually. I like what is happening here. I really like. I'm the type that wait to be invited before I ask for anything. And I was really happy when I saw your invitation. So when I saw that invitation, I'm like, yes, the universe is calling. So
Yes, that's nice.
so
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm
okay.
very happy to see
So
you all.
I didn't even
And
ask anything. I didn't ask any question. I was like, if the universe sends me an invitation, I'm going. So I'm in. Thank you so much. And it's so nice to see all of you and to hear your stories. And yeah, I love to listen to people like you to make me feel like I'm not alone. And then yeah, because I'm in a place where this kind of gathering is difficult. I mean, in Germany is difficult, and especially if you don't speak the German language, it's even more difficult. So with connecting with people like you makes this journey easier. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Anyone
you
else?
remind me of the
I
father
would.
who came, Stanley, who came from Ghana. Hygia, you
Oh,
remind me of that father, priest who
thank
came
you.
from Ghana.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's nice.
So I
I
would
shall
just like
stay.
to add something. Uh, Mr. Hunter, okay, I don't know if that
Yes.
is your first name. You were
Yes,
talking
Hunter. Yes,
about,
Hunter Williamson. Yes.
yeah, being a psychic and all of that really affecting you. So this also happened with me. And there's this really wonderful book that I think all of us can, read. That book has some really wonderful tips called as the Empath Survival Guide by Judith Orloff, where she's a psychiatrist and
Can
she
you write it? Can
practices
you write it down on that
energy.
chat
Okay,
box?
energy medicine, where
Okay.
she basically talks about a lot of different, basically understanding ourselves, that where does this ability come from, that how only 20% of the population is an empath, someone with very highly reactive neurological systems.
Mhm.
So I also work with people who are empaths. However, for starters, I think that is a really wonderful book. It has a number of different tools that you can use to protect yourself, and also understanding which are your triggers, like even being a psychic empath, which is basically psychic abilities, or an emotional empath, taking up energies or emotions of people. That is something
That's
which
right.
used to happen with me a lot. Or with people who work with spirit energies. And sometimes what happens with us, that suddenly we are just trying to sleep and there's a spirit who comes up and is not
Oh,
ready
I
to
know.
leave, and we just don't know what to do about it. So that book has some really wonderful tools. So I think I'll just put it up there so that all of us can read it.
That's
And
great.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
that would help all of us. So yeah.
Thank you again for your words. So anyone else before we close? I think would you want to try your mic again? Mind access, you didn't say anything. Anything you just would like to add?
I've always been working in silence, so I just kept silent, observing everything and hearing out you people. It was all interesting, so interesting that I was completely engrossed in receiving whatever I was able to receive. So I'm based in Mumbai, and I am been into this healing work, therapeutic work since like for last 10, 11 years. And I'm therapy, entity possession therapy, aura cleaning, entity depossession is spirit releasement therapy, and few other modalities as well. And listening about Sylvia Brown. So she is one of the person, I would say, reading her books. I was pushed into this suite, and there was something very overwhelming that when I read her first
servant,
yes. Yeah, a person chosen, just a guide in between, or a catalyst who can really accelerate the healing work. Because healing is there inside all of us, in everybody. We just have to tap that capability so that everybody can do its own healing themselves with little bit of help.
It's like, switching on the bulb, for them, or maybe you can call it the Wi-Fi is everywhere. Just give them the password. The moment they get the password, yes, they don't need to depend on anyone. They can live their life fully.
So
Yes.
I hope all of you have put all your information down in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is the chat box?
There's a
I'm
chat.
trying to
there's-
find. Oh, here it is.
Right
I
below.
found it. I found it.
And if you
So
if you still need any you need to connect with anyone, just write to us, the people who invited you for the webinar, and we'll connect you. Don't stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, where is the WhatsApp group link?
I just sent
It's
it to you.
already,
I sent it in the
group
group.
has been already been created. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. I just sent it. Yeah.
If you go into the chat box at the bottom, there's like
Yeah.
3 little
Yes,
dots.
I found it.
If you click on that, you can save the chat in a folder on your computer.
Right. I was actually talking about the WhatsApp group link, but I found it now. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all. Really appreciate all of you being here. And I honestly, I never let webinars go on for so long. I always end, but it was so interesting, and there were so many interesting people with so many different ideas and practices. It was really interesting. And I'm so glad to be connected with all of you. I'm really grateful.
Thank you,
Honestly,
Tarun,
really
once
grateful
again.
and
Thank
to
you
be
so much.
connected with all of you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you.
Tarun. Thank you, all
Thank
of
you so
you.
much.
Be part of this
Thank
community,
you.
and I think Infinite Wellness, you have a wonderful smile. I always wanted to
Thank you
tell you
so
from the
much.
time I saw you.
That's the universal connect which I have.
Big warm hugs to everybody.
Yeah, same.
Warm hugs to everybody.
Even
Yeah, hug.
Rushar, I must
Rushar,
say,
I really like the way you also smile. Istanbul, I think about that movie.
yeah, but even
Please
Rushar,
do come
I
anytime.
must say, your face is glowing. Your face is glowing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Big warm hugs.
All
Lot
of
of love.
you, thank you so
Yeah.
much. God bless you all.
It was a
Bye bye,
beautiful
everybody.
connect.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.